Everyone knows the loud, arrogant narcissist, the one who brags, dominates every room, and makes everything about themselves. But psychology says the most dangerous type of narcissist is the one you'd never suspect. They're soft-spoken. They seem humble. They might even play the victim. And by the time you realize what they've done to you, they've already convinced everyone else that you're the problem. This is the covert narcissist. And unlike their loud counterparts, they operate in silence, which is exactly what makes them so hard to identify and so easy to get hurt by. Psychology calls this vulnerable narcissism, and once you understand how it works, you'll never miss the signs again. They play the victim, constantly. The covert narcissist rarely brags about how great they are. Instead, they tell you how much they've suffered, how nobody appreciates them, how the world has always been unfair to them. Psychologists call this covert entitlement, the belief that they deserve more, expressed not through confidence, but through victimhood. And here's the pattern. When something goes wrong, somehow it always leads back to their pain, never yours.
They give to control, not to connect. On the surface, they appear incredibly generous. They help, they give, they sacrifice, and they make sure you know it. But research on narcissistic behavior shows that this giving is transactional. Every act of kindness is a deposit into an emotional bank account, and they will collect with interest. If you ever stop giving back in the way they expect, suddenly they weren't kind at all. You were ungrateful. You took them for granted, and guilt becomes their greatest weapon. They use silence as punishment. When an overt narcissist is angry, they explode. The covert narcissist goes quiet. They withdraw, they become cold, they stop responding. And the silence is designed to make you feel anxious, to make you chase them, apologize, and beg for things to go back to normal. Psychology calls this passive aggression, a form of emotional manipulation where the absence of communication becomes the punishment. You find yourself constantly trying to figure out what you did wrong. And here's the most important thing psychology says about the covert narcissist, and why they're considered more harmful than the loud type. Keep watching. They make you doubt your own reality. This is what makes them the most dangerous type. Because they're not openly cruel, you can't point to what they're doing. The harm is invisible. You just feel it. The exhaustion, the confusion, the constant sense that something is wrong, but you can't name it. Psychologists call this gaslighting by omission. They don't lie outright. They simply deny, minimize, and reframe, until you start to believe that your feelings are the problem, not their behavior.
They're obsessed with envy, but hide it perfectly. One of the core traits of covert narcissism is chronic envy. But unlike the overt narcissist who openly competes, the covert narcissist hides it. They'll quietly resent your success. They'll give you a compliment with a sting in the tail. That's great. I'm surprised you pulled it off. They'll minimize your achievements in ways so subtle you almost don't notice. But over time, you start to feel smaller around them. Not because you are, but because that's what they need you to feel. They're impossible to confront. Try to address their behavior and watch what happens. They don't get defensive in the usual way. They collapse. They become deeply hurt. They cry or go silent or tell you how much you've wounded them, until the conversation that was about their behavior becomes entirely about comforting them. Psychology describes this as DARVO: deny, attack, reverse victim, and offender. The moment you try to set a boundary, you become the abuser in their story. And because they've spent years building an image of sensitivity and humility, the people around you believe them. If this video felt uncomfortably familiar, that recognition is important. Psychology doesn't call you weak for missing the signs. Covert narcissists are skilled at hiding in plain sight. They survive by appearing safe. by the time the damage is visible,
It's already been done for a long time. Recognizing the pattern isn't paranoia, it's protection. If you want to keep understanding the hidden psychology behind why people behave the way they do, not just what they do, but why, subscribe to this channel right now. Because on this channel, we don't just describe behavior, we decode it. We give you the language for things you felt but never been able to name. And once you can name it, you can finally protect yourself from it.